So here we are, and Mashiach has not come yet. Beis HaMikdash was not built yet. And is it up to us to bring him and build a Beis HaMikdash? One could ask, how is that possible? All the great previous generations, with all the great Gedolei Yisrael, Rashi, and Vilna Gaon, and Chavetz Chaim, they couldn't bring Mashiach. And Hashem expects us to bring Mashiach. We don't come to their greatness in any way, any stretch of the imagination. What can we do? A mashal is given of a big fat tree that had to be cut down. They called in all the strong people to chop it down. They lined up, gave them very good axes. And each one gave a bang with his axe. Number one, number two, 10 of them came, and the tree was still standing. But it had just a little bit left, a little bit more. And a person came along, a weakling with a very dull axe, and he gave the final chop, and the tree came down. So, who really knocked the tree down? All the 10 people from before, they knocked it down. The last one, he just did the final touches to make it happen. Mashiach coming is a process. It's not up to one individual. Hashem has a whole process in mind that has to be gone through in order to bring Mashiach. And all the great people from before, they prepared the way for Mashiach in their great way. And we, in the last generation, we're not as great as they are, but we have the power to make that last chop, that last clap, that last important step in that process to bring Mashiach. So it's not we that's bringing him, in the full sense of the word, but it's the great people before us. We're just finishing up by God giving everybody a chance to be part of that process, to have the schus to be part of that process. It's like a elf, a dwarf on top of a giant. The giant is much taller, can see much more, but if he puts a dwarf on top of his shoulders, the dwarf can see more than the giant can see. Who's really making it happen? The giant underneath. But the dwarf on top is the one who's finishing off the process of seeing what has to be seen. And that's how we have to look at bringing Mashiach. We're on top of the shoulders of giants, great people before us. And we're part of that process to finish off and do what we can do to finish off what they did to make it happen. We also have another very important thought that's involved over here, that we are living now in the time, relatively, one of the best times in Jewish history for the Jewish people, because we're very affluent, relatively speaking, especially in this country, and most countries. Jews are having it relatively very good as far as their parnasa is concerned, their livelihood. Nobody's starving, nobody's really going hungry. Very little of that is going on now. And the problem from anti-Semitism actually suffering from is very little, basically, especially in this country. And things are going very well. A person to want Mashiach is something out of the ordinary. Why would a person want Mashiach? Everything's going so nicely, even as far as Yiddishkeit is concerned. In Judaism, we have a lot of shuls, we have Torah is thriving in all the cities in America and all around the world with kohelim, with yeshivas. Why would we want Mashiach? If we do want Mashiach, that shows we realize something's missing, even though we're so affluent and so satisfied, so to speak, with our life. But we realize we're missing. It's something that we're being close to Hashem is what we're missing. Yeah, we have affluence and financially stability, financial stability, but we're missing that closeness to Hashem. We're missing that Ava and the real purpose of creation for Yidden to be close, Jews to be close to Hashem, to have that great feeling of Avos Hashem and Kirvus Hashem, closeness to Hashem. The Beis HaMikdash, when it's built, it's me'ein olam haba. It's like almost like the world to come. The world to come is the Jews will be close to Hashem. The Beis HaMikdash, the Jews are close to Hashem. And it's a different feeling. It's like feeling Yom Kippur, like Kol Nidrei, like Ne'ilah, all year around. Who doesn't get a great feeling of satisfaction, of delight when it comes to the great times in our life that we feel Hashem close to Him? There's a great simcha or something which we enjoy as a spiritual happening in our lives, that we have a special warmth and a warm simcha that we're feeling. And that's what the Beis HaMikdash is all about. Close to Hashem, being so happy to be near Him, like Hashem wants us to be. So if we feel that now, and we say, of course we're affluent, we have everything we need more or less, but we're missing this closeness to Hashem, the spiritual uplifting, spiritual pleasure that we're missing. Hashem is very, very touched, so to speak, with us, that if we feel that way. And this is something which could go a long way to bring Mashiach, the schus that we'll have in our generation, even though we're so small compared to the generations before us. Let's hope that it'll be in our time. It should be very soon. This year, we'll do our best to pray, and the last time we'll sit on the floor to cry about Beis HaMikdash. We should make Tisha B'av a day of joy and a great holiday and a great Yom Tov.